After 22 years of the One Piece anime, the series is hitting the 1,000 episode mark. Even with all the anime available right now, there are very few that have reached this milestone. To celebrate One Piece's anime achievement, we talked to fans both in and out of the anime industry to share their thoughts on the series after all these years.
Hi, I'm Roger Space. I am a full-time YouTuber/streamer that covers One Piece weekly. Every time a new chapter releases on Sunday, I am there to do a live reaction review to it. What makes One Piece so special? I mean, for me personally, it's the world building. I love the world building in One Piece. I always have. I think that's something that instantly attracted me to the series when I first got into it. And I was in the Arlong Park arc at that time, and I'm looking at it going, this looks different than anything else that's in the magazine. At the time, the original dub was airing on TV, and then I've sort of been like a diehard fan ever since. I don't know. I just think Oda does such a good job of setting up the world while also making these interesting characters that then feel as if they live in this world. I love the world building in One Piece, and I think hands down that's my number one favorite thing about the series as a whole.
I'm Eric Vale, and I am the voice of Sanji. I think what makes One Piece so special is the crew. It's what people want in life. You want a group that surrounds you, that supports you, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what obstacles are thrown in front of you, no matter how crazy those obstacles are, you want a crew of people that believe in you and have your back. And I think that's what really is sort of at the heart of the longevity of the show.
Hey, I'm Sungwon Cho. I'm a voice actor, and I also do YouTube, and I'm also a big One Piece fan. The characters, first and foremost, are what really make One Piece just sing. Watching their growth from their childhoods and over literal decades of the manga and the anime, and watching their growth, I look upon them as if they were my own children. I'm proud of their accomplishments.
Hi, I'm Kimmy D, and I am a content creator. I usually make comedy videos on pop culture, anime, funny stuff. I feel like the characters are kind of like family at this point, because I feel very attached to all of them. Being able to have such a long anime and giving us the details behind each character and seeing everything that happens behind everyone and the journey that they go through definitely makes me feel more attached. So it almost feels like I'm going on this journey with Luffy and the crew. I still feel super excited every time I watch each episode.
I'm Colleen Klinkenbeard, and I'm the English voice of Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. It's got this magnificent ability to transform itself without losing anything that it had before. At no point have I ever been bored by One Piece, and we're approaching the 1,000th episode, so that's saying something. There are no dips in interest. It's like you can have what some people would call a filler arc, and it feels just as valid and just as important to the plot as arcs where Luffy's fighting a big villain. Its ability to keep people engaged kind of also creates this community of people who are really interested in engaging about the show, and it makes you feel like you're a part of something.
Hello, my name is Godswill Ugwa Jr. I work at Viz Media at the moment. I used to work at Funimation, doing social media. I do community management at Viz Media. It's still just better than ever before. It doesn't get boring. It hasn't got tired. It has managed to keep building on this tower of Jenga blocks and still be such a stable, fun property that makes me laugh uncontrollably and cry uncontrollably. And right now, where we're at the 1,000 chapter, 1,000 episode, it still is enthralling.
Hi, I'm Steve Yurko. I'm a professional storyboard artist, and I am a co-host on a long-running One Piece podcast. I think it's the fact that the spirit of it has never changed. It's the same story it's always been. Characters like Luffy, Zoro, the rest of the Straw Hats, these characters are so rich. They're so rich that they could last more than 2 decades and still be just as mesmerizing as they were in those first few episodes.
Hello, I'm Mike McFarlane. I am the ADR voice director for the English dub of One Piece, and I'm also the English voice of Buggy the Clown. What continues to make One Piece special is the cool storytelling aspect of it. It's as far as what's the one thing? There's lots of things, but that's what I'm going to say. The ability to keep that show and those characters and that world going and continue to be interesting and wonderful and engaging. I'm just so fascinated with that.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the co-hosts of the One Piece podcast, and I also do graphic design and illustration. There's limitless imagination coming from Oda Sensei's brain. No matter where you go in One Piece, there's always something sort of different happening in terms of looks, in terms of characters, in terms of general goings on. From the get-go, you have a boy made out of rubber, and that's fun. Like, you can do a whole lot with that. But over the course of the series, you see all sorts of stuff. So you have, you've got dragons, you've got giants, you've got, political intrigue. It's one thing for someone to say, oh, that idea is crazy, you shouldn't put it in. But it's another thing for someone to say, oh, that idea is crazy, but put it in anyway. That goes a long way when it comes to the longevity of One Piece, that you're never going to see the same thing twice, really. To a particular degree.
I think the big moment of, okay, yeah, this is great. And it's the same for a lot of people, is Arlong Park, where Luffy puts his hat on Nami's head. It's an iconic scene. It's really at that moment, I think, where I went, wow, I am really invested in these characters with Nami's backstory and everything that, everything before that moment is fun. But I think that moment still really resonates with me. I am on board now, and I want to see where this goes all the way to the end. I will die for these characters.
I think this goes back to Arlong Park, but I think it's weird because the moment that I'm thinking of that actually really got me interested in One Piece is not the moment from Arlong Park that you would think. It was actually the fight with Usopp and Shu, where he threw the ketchup in his fake blood. For whatever reason, I don't know, that was so different from any other anime that I'd experienced up to that point. And I thought, wow, okay, these characters are interesting and funny. It's not just like your stereotypical, martial arts, exciting, all action type of series. Like, there's humor in there as well, even within really serious moments. So yeah, for me, it was definitely Usopp's fight in Arlong Park.
Honestly, for me, to be specific, it was the first arc that Sanji's introduced was when it was really starting to get its hooks in me. And I think his backstory and his moment of starting his adventure and joining Luffy, I remember saying to myself, how can this show be this good? I'm crying while watching it. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of other anime like Dragon Ball, and I never cried once watching anything from that show.
I think the moment that got me really into One Piece was probably when he met Sanji at Barati's. I feel like that was the moment that I knew One Piece wasn't just like, how do I explain it? It's not as goofy, because there was a lot of like comedic moments in One Piece. And I felt like that was like a little bit deeper into the story.
And seeing Sanji's tenacity to feeding all types of people, even people that like wanted to steal from him. It was like, okay, this is different.
I'll just say that in the early days of recording One Piece, there was this feeling in the studio that we were all doing something that we knew was going to be big or important. We wanted to get it right. So there was a huge dedication to making sure that the voices were right and making sure that we were doing it justice. And I think if you're putting that much effort into something, it becomes super special to you. So just watching the animation over and over again and falling in love with Luffy as I'm trying to make sure that I'm conveying everything that's being conveyed in the original language. And so that would be my first fandom of the series, is I just fell in love with him as a character. And that has never faded. I've just been in love with him. He's my favorite character in anime, period.
My family would very frequently visit Greece because that's where my dad is from. Every Saturday morning, growing up there every summer, we would watch Dragon Ball. My cousins gravitated towards other things, and one morning after Dragon Ball, they were watching some show. Some weird show with this weird-looking kid with a straw hat, and there was this guy with 3 swords. and a sword in his mouth. And I was like, this is really cool. This is possibly the coolest thing I've ever seen. Zoro is fighting the Nyaban brothers and using his three-sword style. And that hooked me instantly. I thought that was incredible. Never seen anything like it. The coolest thing ever. And then when I got home to America, I was like, gotta find out what this is.
I think whenever I was doing my pre-production on the show, just seeing Luffy's introduction, like I'm already engaged with the music and the storytelling prior to that. But just seeing like, you know, a barrel pop open and the character pop out of it and like, oh, that's the lead character. That's what I see in all the artwork and everything. This is the introduction. Like I thought that was a fun, cool way to like, you know, like just get the ball rolling rather than like, there's a whole bunch of ways you could start out, but I think the lead character popping out of a barrel that gets fished out of the ocean is a really cool way to start the show off. And I was hooked from then on.
Okay, this is a really tough question.
I got to think about this one.
I first off think that it's cruel to have to be asked to describe One Piece in one word.
No.
Describe One Piece in one word. That's actually a hard question. You said it was a simple question. That's a hard question. In one word.
Emotional. Because I think that is at the crux of why I love One Piece so much. Going back to what we were talking about with that first question, you know, I really do love the world building, but I think One Piece is not afraid to have its characters show emotion, to cry, to, you know, really start screaming at other characters. And I do feel like the emotion is what resonates with people and what gets people really into the series, seeing the emotion tied to someone like Luffy or Sanji or Nami or the rest of the characters in it. I think emotional is actually the best way to describe it.
Heartfelt. There's really a lot of love amongst the characters. If you're looking for just flashy fights, although the thing is, One Piece has all this great stuff. They've got flashy fights, they've got amazing characters and all this stuff, but what really makes me a true diehard fan is just the emotional core, that heart it has at the center.
I would have to say greatness.
First thing that comes to mind is wacky.
Adventure. And that's a very broad term, but it could stand for so many things. Of course, you would expect me just to describe, sailing on a ship and sailing the world. But One Piece is not only that, but adventure as in discovering your true self, who you are, or also embracing who you are and finding the people in the world that appreciate you for who you are.
I'm going to complete broad strokes the whole thing and just say adventure. I think it's an adventure.
It's epic. That's the only way to describe One Piece in one word, I think.
Unexpected. You know, you go into, at least I went into One Piece expecting it to be like every other anime I had seen, or nothing too special, you know? Just a goofy anime. What can you do about pirates? You know, pirates can be pretty tired. I remember in like episode 700, like where you get to see Law's backstory in Dressrosa. And to myself, I literally was like, you can't surprise me anymore, Oda. I've seen your tricks. And that backstory of 4 or 5 episodes with Corazon and Law broke me. I'm getting goosebumps starting to think about it, actually. I have been tricked many times by the paths that like Oda seems to lay. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm crying. Boom, I'm laughing. It's just chaotic and beautiful, and it's still something that has been an emotional ride that like I can't really expect. You know, even the filler is something that like I can't expect, and it usually brings me a lot more joy.
If it's an adjective, I guess gummy. And stay with me. Gummy, as far as the properties of gum are concerned, you can stretch gum, so you can make it really long. One Piece is long. Gum is fun when you stretch gum out or blow bubbles with it or chew it. Always fun. Profound. Gum can be very profound when you think about it. The label of gum, you'll see what goes into it, the ingredients, and then you think to yourself, I can't believe I'm putting that many chemicals in my mouth at one time. That's quite interesting. It's the property of Luffy. He ate the gum fruit. There's a little bit of that in there. Evokes nostalgic emotion from me. Thinking back to my childhood and me enjoying different flavors of gum that don't exist anymore, the nostalgic properties of gum also stay with me there. So that also relates to One Piece. There you go. There's my bracketed response.
So it is going to be a watch party where we're going to watch episode 998, excuse me, and 999 of the anime, sort of in the lead up to the grand release of One Piece episode 1000. Obviously, this is a very momentous occasion for One Piece, you know, for the entire fandom. And in addition to doing a watch party, I will also be doing my final cook for the One Piece Chowdown series that I've been doing for Funimation's IGTV, where I basically take recipes from the One Piece Pirate Recipes cookbook from Viz and I replicate them, and they're all different recipes from the series. So we did Gin's fried rice at one point, we did the Inari sushi from the Davy Back fight, and then I'm not going to spoil what I'm going to be cooking for this big watch party event, but I will say if you read One Piece and you're familiar with the characters, it will be something instantly recognizable to you. So yeah, make sure to tune in.